This is part 3 of my intended conclusion. May or may not be so. But the reality is that we must realign ourselves with the facts of life. It doesn't matter what you want. What matters is what is true. And of things that are true, one of these is that Mexico City, a city of 22 million people, is running out of water. They have barely enough water to sustain most of those who live there. And that's why our border is being overwhelmed, or at least partly because you have to have water. The apocalypse predicted is over about water, because we're going to run out of water because human overpopulation is taking all the water, and human expertise is claiming that pollution doesn't matter and poisons don't matter, and so they're dumping poison and pollution everywhere. Everywhere, by the trillion ton. And they've been doing it for 50 years. So the end result is we're just about over with that. End of the line. Because that's what you chose. That's what you allow the people who are leading you to choose, and of course the university diploma is what leads everyone. Pretty much around the world, I suspect. And of course the water pollution crisis is just simply that. We are too many people taking too much from everything and everywhere. And to fix the problem, the university diploma was simply counterfeit the money. Create debts, let the children pay, don't worry about a thing. That's the propaganda, don't worry about a thing. The university's got it under control. But just in global wealth is claimed to be $56,800 US dollars, if we divided it equally, per human face on the planet. Think about that for a minute. And then understand that we have a choice to make. The people who are crossing the border, they have no place to go. 100 million more mouths to feed than deaths occur every year, roughly speaking. Maybe more, maybe less, but it won't be much less. Because, there was, over the last 50 years, if we divide it per year, there's 84 million people arrived in this United States every year for the last 50 years. We're going to run out of food, we're going to run out of space, we're going to run out of resources. Pollution is overwhelming us, sewage is going to overtake us. War is the answer of men, and war will be our extinction. And for that cause, we have to be very careful about what we now choose. We have to be aware of what is coming by thinking. That doesn't mean you get to want whatever you want or don't want whatever you don't want. That is utterly irrelevant. It doesn't mean you get to believe whatever you want. That too is utterly irrelevant. You can't lie and survive. That's just the facts of life. And the consequence of that is that the United States decided that they wanted a president that would just turn everything backward and reclaim the past. We'll throw them all out and we'll be just exactly as we was. Just take them away. Just take them away. And of course that would be nice. The actual fact, that would be nice. But we can't go back. And not only is there 100 million more mouths to feed this year than last year, there will be 100 million more mouths to feed next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, unless human population control comes under control. That is a cost of women, because only women have babies, and it means that you really have to stop with the birth control pills and use IUDs instead, something that would last 20 years. So that a child doesn't arrive till you're like 30 years old, because that's what we need. Even if you stopped, even if there was not a child born from this moment forward, we would still need more resources over the next 10 years, because those who are here will grow. And that means we need more. More water, more food, more resources, more habitat, more everything, and that means that the world is, facing extinction because we can't do it. Our world can't do it. It's a finite world. No, you can't have whatever you want. It's a finite world. It's finite resources, finite water, finite everything. So I have to pay particular attention to our leaders, and in reality we have to replace them with law, or govern them with law, that we the world make. But aside from that, in this United States, we have to recognize what democracy allows for us. This is the electors. The electoral college elects the president and the vice president. We do not elect them. That's just a pacifier. You don't get to elect them. The fact that the popular vote allowed for Trump to be president means that he has the right to have a choice. He has a right to have a chance to obey the Constitution or not. And of course, the judiciary is part of our world, and we have to have a judiciary, even though they grade terribly low. It's still better than chaos, even though it ain't much. Nonetheless, in this United States, the judiciary can only decide what is under the Constitution, not above it. And if they have to decide what is under the Constitution, that means they have no right to interfere with the Constitution itself. They don't have a right. So I'll read you again what the United States President and Vice President agreed to. Our contract with ourselves is the government. They're not the employees. People are not the government. Our contract with ourselves is the government. And it reads like this: We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice to ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our children, do ordain and establish this Constitution. And of course, the amendments add into that. So what we have then is a situation where we do elect everybody but the president, of high office in contract, that is our government. We do elect those employees to watch over us, to run the business of society, even though they've proven to be very poor at it. Nonetheless, the reality is that the president and vice president are only here because they are, they are allowed to. It is a sworn job. They get their job by swearing an oath. They don't get their job by being elected, although that's part of the system. People have to decide who they want to swear in. But the job is, in fact, given to you by your oath of office. And your oath of office is, I do solemnly swear, and so on, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. That means that with redress, this is redress, First Amendment of the Constitution, our right to create for ourselves the decision that we're going to petition for redress of grievances. That requires a courtroom to decide the evidence. No, you can't just believe whatever the hell you want to believe. No, you cannot just assume that this will go bad or this will not go bad or whatever it is. You have to let them try, because only the evidence can decide. You don't get to decide whatever you want to decide. You get to decide by the evidence if they have sworn, accepted their oath and done what they needed to, this nation needed to do or not. If they refuse to do as their oath demands for them to do, and it is further explained in the Virginia Bill of Rights and Declaration of Independence, that if they fail to do that, then we have the right to evict them. We don't need any other form or fashion or function. Redress of grievances is our authority as a nation, as a democracy, to own this nation. We own it. It is not theirs. We're not ruled. They are not the emperor. They're not God. They don't get to decide. they get to obey their oath. And so we can remove them if they fail us. And it takes redress of grievances, which means that we have to have a courtroom. We have to have the evidence that says that they failed us, and if they haven't, then they get to stay. But like COVID proved, if you are not prepared for what's coming, if you do not understand the nature of what is coming, they will overrun you, as did COVID. You know, the entire democracy of this nation was completely destroyed. It was completely removed by the people who said, I have a right. We are employees. We have to protect ourselves from you. We have to protect ourselves from a pandemic that did not exist. And they claim that their vaccine saved the world. But of course they have no proof of that. Not a single thread. None. They have no proof of it whatsoever. Only the proof that they stole from us our future, our nation, our money, our securities, everything that they wanted. And of course the people who did steal, who did enforce the propaganda that, you have to obey, believe, obey, fear your life, fear, be a Nazi, fear. And of course, after a year of bombardment by media, they took the lives of your children to mutilate their DNA. They covered your face and ruined your organizations and all kinds of things that humanity decided they wanted to believe. And it is really just the same path that Nazi Germany took. So you have to prepare to defend yourselves. With the law. You can't use weapons to decide what you want. It has to be the law, because we are 8 billion plus people on this planet, and only the law can solve the problems that we have. Only the law can accept the idea that something more than just you gets to decide. There is no such thing as a ruler unless we let them be a ruler. There is no such thing as a leader unless we let them be a leader. People in Russia can evict Putin. They can evict Putin. They can, people in Israel can evict Netanyahu. People in this United States could evict Trump, and the people in China can stop the massive communism takeover that is their lives in jeopardy. You can't do that. Overpopulation is a very, very extinction event. You have to stop it. And that means, whether you want to or not, you have to accept the consequences of your decision. These are decisions. No, God did not give you a child to do whatever you wanted with. No, you cannot blame God for your decision. Nature provides for things that you may or may not want. But that's nature. We are put here to make decisions for ourselves. That's the basic reality of our lives. We are put here to make decisions for ourselves. And it is those decisions that decide what is your truth. So you have to make your own decision. You have to stop believing to make a decision. You can't just believe whatever it is you want to believe. And I'm talking to you because I have no choice. You are killing this planet. You are preparing hell for yourselves. And that would include me, assuming I'd survive that long. And that's certainly not very far away, because without water, your hell is immediate. And without food, hell is soon. And without food, or, with war, hell is quick. All of those things are tragic events, and all of those things are in the imminent future, because you chose to follow the university as God. You chose to accept the idea that fantasy was enough. You chose to accept, as in evolution, that this looks like that is God. You chose the death of the planet by pouring pollution and poisons everywhere. the people who coming over the border, you know, they need to be giving them a job to replant the forest. Give them a tent city and tell them that, you know, if you do a good job, you know, maybe you'll just live here. So do that. Let them help you collect the poisons and the pollution and everything, because you don't want to do that. So let them, because, you know, everybody has to do something to earn a right to live here. And that's not because we want to, that's because we have to. You were born, you know, nobody decided that I'm going to be born today. You were born. They were born. And you know, life is life. You have to accept the limits and the boundaries. It's our job.